Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. I want you to listen closely because what I'm about to say can change everything for you. You ready? Good. Life. Life is hard, no one's denying that. We all face challenges, obstacles, roadblocks, disappointments. Some of them come out of nowhere, hit us like a freight train. Some of them we see coming a mile away and we still can't seem to get around them. But here's the thing. No matter what life throws at you, the one thing that you control, that you have 100% control over every single day, is you. You have the power to decide how you're going to respond to the world around you. You have the power to make the choice to rise or fall, to fight or quit. And that power, that choice, starts with focusing on you. Now, I'm not saying that you should be selfish or arrogant or think that the world revolves around you. No. What I'm saying is that you've got to prioritize your own growth, your own journey, your own well-being, because if you don't take care of yourself, how in the world are you going to be any good to anyone else? Look, I know it's easy to get distracted. I know the world is full of noise. You got people talking in your ear, telling you what you should be doing, where you should be going, what success looks like. And a lot of that noise, if you let it, will drown out your own voice, your own dreams, your own purpose. But if you really want to make something of yourself, if you really want to step into the life that's waiting for you, you've got to block out that noise. You've got to focus on you. It starts with getting real. You can't lie to yourself about where you are right now. You can't make excuses. I've heard them all before. I don't have the time. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't have the resources. Let me tell you something. Those are just excuses. Every single one of them. Every successful person, every person who's made it, had the same struggles, the same doubts. The difference is they didn't let those things define them. They didn't let them stop them. They focused on what they could control. They focused on themselves. Now, I know what you're thinking, but it's hard. Yes, it's hard. Life is hard. The grind is real. The work, the sacrifice, it's all part of the process. There's no shortcut to success. But the truth is, you'll never make progress if you're always looking around trying to please everyone else, trying to live up to their expectations. You've got to stay focused on you. You've got to look in the mirror every single day and ask yourself, what do I need to do today to get closer to the person I want to be? What do I need to do today to make my dreams a reality? You've got to put in the work. Every single day, no matter how tired you are, no matter how many distractions come your way, no matter how many people try to tell you it's too late, or you're not good enough, or you'll never make it. Those people, they don't matter. The only opinion that matters is yours. You've got to be your own biggest fan. You've got to believe in yourself even when no one else does. You've got to know that every step you take, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. And listen, when you focus on yourself, when you really dig in and commit to becoming the best version of yourself, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to challenge you. You're going to fail. You're going to fall flat on your face. You're going to wonder if it's all worth it. And you know what? That's okay. Because failure is just a lesson in disguise. Every time you fall, you learn something. Every time you fail, you grow. And every time you get back up, you get stronger. But here's the thing you've got to remember when you're in the middle of that struggle, when it feels like the world is against you, when it seems like every door is closing in your face, you've got to keep going. Because that's where the magic happens. That's when you find out what you're really made of. That's when you find your true strength. You've got to keep moving, keep pushing, keep grinding. And let me tell you this, you're going to have moments, a lot of moments when you feel like quitting. You're going to have moments where the road ahead seems impossible, where it feels like you're not getting anywhere. But that's the point where you've got to double down. That's the moment where you've got to dig deeper and keep your eyes on the prize. Because when you focus on yourself, you start to understand something. You start to understand that it's not about the end result. It's not about the fame, the money, the recognition. It's about the person you become along the way. You've got to focus on your growth, your character, your resilience. Because that's what's going to carry you through when the world tries to knock you down. When you focus on you, you develop the strength to face anything that comes your way. You develop the confidence to keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. Every day is a new opportunity to become better than you were yesterday. Every day is a chance to work on your mindset, your body, your spirit. Every day is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to improve. And the more you focus on you, the more you give yourself the chance to rise, to be the person you've always dreamed of being. But it's not just about working on yourself physically. It's about working on your mind. Your mind is where everything begins. If you want to change your life, you've got to start with your thoughts. You've got to change the way you think about yourself, about your potential, about what's possible for your life. You've got to stop letting fear control you. Fear is the enemy. Fear tells you that you can't do it. Fear tells you that you're not good enough. Fear tells you to play it safe, to stay in your comfort zone. But fear is a lie. Fear is just a feeling, and feelings are temporary. The courage to act is what lasts. The courage to keep going, even when fear is screaming at you to stop, that's what defines you. So every day you've got to fight that fear, you've got to fight those limiting beliefs, you've got to fight that inner voice telling you that you can't. And you've got to replace those negative thoughts with the truth. The truth that you are capable. The truth that you are worthy. The truth that you have everything you need inside of you to succeed. Now, I want you to think about something. If you woke up tomorrow and you focused on you, just for one day, and you put everything else aside, what could you accomplish? What could you achieve? What would happen if you gave yourself that kind of energy and attention, that kind of commitment? You see, the truth is there's nothing stopping you but you. The only person holding you back is the person you see in the mirror. So let me tell you this today, right now, make the decision. Make the decision to focus on yourself, to invest in yourself, to commit to the person you want to become. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions. They don't exist. The time is now. The place is here. The only thing you need is the will to get started and the courage to keep going. You can do it. You can be more. You can achieve more. But it all starts with focusing on you. You've got the power. You've got the potential. Now it's time to take control of your life and make it happen. Every single day. Keep your focus on you. Stay in your lane. Don't let anyone or anything distract you from your purpose. And always remember you are capable of more than you know. You just have to believe in yourself and stay focused. The key to success and personal growth lies in prioritizing your own journey, taking responsibility for your choices, and blocking out distractions. You have control over how you respond to challenges, and focusing on your own growth is essential for achieving your goals. Fear, doubt, and negative thoughts are inevitable, but they should not control you. You must fight against these feelings and replace them with confidence and belief in your abilities. True growth comes when you push through the fear and continue moving forward. Success is not immediate. It requires consistent effort, hard work, and persistence. No matter how difficult the journey gets, keep pushing forward, learn from your failures, and remember that progress is made every day, even if it feels small. You are the only person who can define your future. Stop waiting for the perfect time or the perfect circumstances. Start focusing on yourself and your growth today. Your potential is limitless when you take full responsibility for your actions and choices. In life, there's one thing we all have in common: time. And how we choose to spend it ultimately defines who we are and what we become. So let me ask you, how much of your time do you spend focusing on you? I'm not talking about the surface level things. I'm not talking about quick fixes or temporary distractions that give you an illusion of control. I'm talking about truly focusing on yourself, on your growth, your purpose, and your journey. It's easy to get lost in the noise of the world, to get wrapped up in other people's expectations, and to fall into the trap of constantly measuring your success by someone else's standards. But here's the hard truth: if you spend all your time looking outward, you'll never truly understand your own value or potential. You will never tap into the greatness that resides within you. It starts with focusing on you. When you make the conscious decision to put yourself first, not in a selfish or egotistical way, but in a way that acknowledges your worth and your dreams, you start a process of growth and self-discovery that will change everything. The first step is awareness. You have to take a hard look at where you are right now. Not just your achievements, but your challenges, your struggles, your fears. You have to be brutally honest with yourself about the things you've been avoiding, the habits you've let slide, the relationships that drain you, and the goals you've pushed aside. When you focus on yourself, it's about having the courage to face the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And let me tell you something, this is not easy. We live in a world where distractions are everywhere. Social media, TV, work pressures, family expectations, these things are constantly pulling at you, trying to take your attention away from your own needs and desires. But if you let the outside world dictate your decisions, if you let the opinions of others influence the course of your life, you will find yourself lost. You will feel disconnected from who you really are. And before you know it, you'll wake up years down the road, looking back at a life that was not your own. But it doesn't have to be that way. Focusing on yourself means choosing to carve out time for your own growth. It means setting boundaries. It means saying no when you need to and saying yes to the things that truly matter. It means doing the work even when no one is watching. It means making the choice to prioritize your own development above all else. And this doesn't just mean the obvious things like eating well, working out, or getting enough sleep. Those things are important, don't get me wrong, but focusing on yourself goes beyond physical health. It's about mental and emotional growth too. How often do you take time to check in with yourself mentally? How often do you reflect on your emotions, your thoughts, your mindset? It's so easy to get caught up in the busyness of life that we forget to pause and take stock of how we're truly feeling. We push our emotions aside, suppress our thoughts, and let the weight of the world pile on top of us. But focusing on yourself means taking the time to reflect, to process, and to understand what's going on inside your mind and heart. And that leads to another point. Self-awareness is the foundation of self-improvement. If you don't take the time to truly understand who you are and where you stand, you'll never know where to go or how to get there. When you focus on yourself, you start to learn about your strengths and weaknesses. You start to understand your triggers, your habits, your tendencies. You begin to see patterns in your behavior, and most importantly, you learn what's holding you back. It might be fear, it might be self-doubt, it might be past trauma. But once you acknowledge these things, you can begin the work of overcoming them. This is not an overnight process. This is a lifelong journey. But focusing on yourself means you're willing to commit to that journey, no matter how long it takes or how difficult it gets. When you start focusing on yourself, you begin to see that your growth is not about comparison. It's not about looking at where other people are in their lives and feeling bad about where you are. It's about understanding that your journey is unique. What's right for someone else may not be right for you. What works for someone else may not work for you. And that's okay. Your path is yours alone, and you have to trust in that. Focusing on yourself means accepting that your timeline is not the same as anyone else's. You don't need to rush. You don't need to compete. The only person you need to compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you better today than you were yesterday? Are you closer to your goals? Are you more aligned with your values? That's the only measure of progress that matters. And let me tell you this, there will be times when you get frustrated. There will be times when it feels like nothing is happening. When it seems like the work you're putting in is going unnoticed or that the results are taking too long to show. Those are the moments when most people quit. But focusing on yourself means staying committed, even when things get tough. It means be tough. It means believing in the process, even when you can't see the end result. Sometimes the world will try to tell you that success happens overnight, that people who make it have some kind of secret. But the truth is, success is built on the small, everyday decisions you make to invest in yourself. It's about putting in the work when no one is watching, staying disciplined when the easy way is calling you, and choosing growth over comfort. It's about developing the patience to trust the process and the perseverance to keep going no matter how long it takes. Another part of focusing on yourself is letting go of what doesn't serve you. This is a big one. People, places, habits, and situations, sometimes they're holding you back more than you realize. Sometimes you've outgrown certain people or environments, but you're too afraid to let go because of the fear of change, the fear of being alone, or the fear of failure. But the truth is, you can't grow if you're still clinging to things that are weighing you down. When you focus on yourself, you have to be willing to release what no longer serves you. You have to be willing to let go of toxic relationships, bad habits, and self-limiting beliefs. You have to create space in your life for the things that align with your goals and values. And yes, this is hard. It's uncomfortable. But growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. The best version of yourself can't emerge if you're still holding on to things that are keeping you stuck. So focusing on yourself means making tough decisions. It means cutting ties with what's toxic, even when it's hard. It means making room for new opportunities, new relationships, and new experiences. It means giving yourself the freedom to evolve. Focusing on yourself also means taking responsibility for your own happiness. We live in a world that often tries to tell us that happiness comes from external sources, the right job, the right relationship, the right amount of money. But here's the truth: happiness is an inside job. If you're waiting for someone else or something else to make you happy, you'll be waiting forever. True happiness comes from within. It comes from knowing who you are, being at peace with yourself, and living in alignment with your values. When you focus on yourself, you give yourself the fear and doubt are two of the most powerful forces that can hold us back from becoming who we're meant to be. And if you're like most people, they've been present at every crossroads in your life, every time you stepped out of your comfort zone. You felt them when you faced challenges, when you've set big goals, and when you've tried to make changes in your life. Fear and doubt will tell you that you're not good enough, that you'll never make it, that you should just play it safe and stay where you are. But here's the truth: fear and doubt are liars. They exist only to keep you small, to keep you stuck in your comfort zone, to keep you from becoming the best version of yourself. Now, we all feel fear. It's a natural human response. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. These are things everyone experiences at some point. And I get it. It's real. It's powerful. But here's the thing: just because you feel fear doesn't mean you have to act on it. Fear is not a sign that you should stop moving forward. In fact, it's often the exact opposite. The presence of fear means you're on the right path. It means you're doing something that matters. It means you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and that's where growth happens. So instead of letting fear paralyze you, you have to learn to use it as fuel. Let me tell you something: fear is not your enemy. It's a signal. It's your mind and body telling you that something important is happening, something that requires your full attention, your focus, and your courage. When you recognize that fear is just a natural response to challenge, you can begin to shift your mindset. Instead of seeing it as a roadblock, you can see it as a signal that you're doing something that will push you to grow. The truth is, the more you face your fear, the more you realize that it has no real power over you. It's only as powerful as you allow it to be. And this is where doubt enters the picture. Doubt often accompanies fear. You feel fear because you're unsure of what's to come. And doubt settles in because you're questioning your ability to handle whatever challenge lies ahead. Doubt is the voice in your head telling you that you're not good enough, that you'll fail, that you don't have what it takes to succeed. It's that inner critic that you can't seem to silence, no matter how hard you try. But again, let me tell you something: doubt is just a story you've been telling yourself. It's not the truth. The truth is, you have everything inside of you to succeed. You have the skills, the strength, and the resilience to overcome any challenge. You just have to believe it. Here's the problem with fear and doubt: they both come from the same place: insecurity. They come from the place inside of you that's afraid to take a risk, afraid to fail, afraid to look foolish. And the problem with insecurity is that it keeps you stuck. It keeps you from taking the necessary steps to reach your potential. It tells you that you're not worthy, that you're not capable, and that you should settle for less than what you deserve. But the truth is, insecurity is nothing but a shadow. It's a story you've been telling yourself, a lie that you've bought into for far too long. And until you decide to confront it head on, you will continue to be held back. One of the most powerful things you can do to overcome fear and doubt is to start taking action. And I'm not talking about big, grand gestures. I'm talking about small, deliberate steps. The key to overcoming fear is to start before you feel ready. Most people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect set of circumstances, the perfect amount of confidence. But here's the reality: that moment will never come. You'll never feel 100% confident. You'll never have all the answers. And that's okay. The only thing you need to do is take the first step, just one. Because the moment you begin taking action, the moment you step into the unknown, you begin to see that fear and doubt are not as powerful as they seem. You begin to prove to yourself that you can handle challenges, that you can make it through difficult situations, and that you're capable of much more than you thought. It's also important to recognize that fear and doubt often come from outside sources. We live in a world that loves to tell you what you can't do. People will doubt you. They'll tell you that you're not qualified, that you're too young, too old, too inexperienced, too whatever. They'll project their own fears and insecurities onto you, and it can be hard to separate their doubts from your own. But here's the truth: their doubts are not yours. Their opinions are not your reality. The only person whose opinion matters is yours. And when you start to trust yourself, when you start to believe in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, you'll realize that other people's doubts don't have any power over you. The key to overcoming fear and doubt is to replace them with confidence and self-belief. And how do you build that confidence? By reminding yourself of your past victories, no matter how small they may seem. Think about the times in your life when you face challenges and come through on the other side. Think about the obstacles you've already overcome, the risks you've already taken, and the growth you've already achieved. Those moments are evidence that you are capable. Those moments are proof that you can handle whatever comes next. Every time you've succeeded in the past, no matter how big or small the achievement, you've proven to yourself that you can do it. And the more you remind yourself of those victories, the more your confidence will grow. Another important aspect of overcoming fear and doubt is changing the narrative in your head. You have to stop thinking of fear as a roadblock and start seeing it as a stepping stone. Every time you face fear, you're presented with an opportunity to grow, to learn. That you acknowledge the fear and doubt, but you don't let them dictate your actions. It means that you trust the process, you believe in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, and you keep pushing forward even when things get tough. The most successful people in the world are not those who have never experienced fear or doubt. No, the most successful people are the ones who have felt the fear, faced the doubt, and kept going anyway. They didn't let fear stop them. They didn't let. Consistency is one of the most powerful keys to success, yet it's one of the most overlooked aspects of personal and professional growth. Everyone wants instant results. Everyone wants a quick win, the shortcut, the fast track to success. But the truth is, success isn't built overnight. It's not about having one big, explosive moment that propels you to greatness. No, success is built on the small, consistent efforts you put in day after day, week after week, year after year. It's about showing up even when the results aren't immediate, even when you don't feel like it, and even when it feels like you're not making progress. Consistent effort is the secret weapon of those who achieve great things. We live in a world that thrives on instant gratification. With the swipe of a finger, we can order food, connect with friends, and get access to information. We've grown accustomed to immediate results, and that mindset has crept into how we approach our goals and dreams. But here's the reality: real success doesn't happen quickly. It takes time. It takes persistence. It takes consistent action day in and day out, even when the rewards aren't immediately visible. And it's this commitment to consistent effort that separates those who succeed from those who don't. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see instant results. It's easy to want to quit when you're not making the progress you imagine. But consistency is the key to breakthrough. The small actions you take every day might not seem significant in the moment, but when they compound over time, they lead to massive transformation. When you commit to consistent effort, you're not just working toward a goal, you're building the habits, mindset, and character that will sustain that goal. You're laying the foundation for long-term success, and every single step, no matter how small, is a building block that gets you closer to where you want to be. The first thing you need to understand is that consistent effort doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you have to get everything right all the time. In fact, you're going to fail. You're going to slip up. You're going to make mistakes. That's part of the process. But what matters is that you get back up, learn from those failures, and continue moving forward. It's about progress, not perfection. The key is to keep going, even when things don't go according to plan. That's the difference between those who achieve their goals and those who give up. Let's talk about commitment. Committing to consistent effort means you're willing to put in the work, even when it's not glamorous, even when it's not easy, and even when no one is watching. The reality is, most of the hard work that leads to success is done behind the scenes. It's done in the quiet moments when no one is applauding you, when no one is giving you a pat on the back. It's the early mornings, the late nights, the days when you're tired, and the times when you feel like quitting. But true commitment means you show up regardless of how you feel. It means that your goals are so important to you that you're willing to do the work, even when you'd rather do something else. Consistency isn't just about doing the same thing over and over again. It's about doing the right things over and over again. It's about being intentional with your actions and making sure that what you're doing is moving you closer to your goals. This is where discipline comes in. Discipline is the ability to stay focused and stay on track, even when distractions are all around you. It's the ability to keep working towards your dreams, even when the road gets tough, even when the world tells you to give up. Consistent effort requires discipline. It requires you to stay focused on what matters, even when everything else is trying to pull you in a different direction. One of the most powerful aspects of consistent effort is that it builds momentum. The first few steps are always the hardest. The first few days of working toward a goal are often filled with resistance, self-doubt, and frustration. But as you continue to show up and put in the work, you begin to build momentum. Things start to feel easier. The small wins start to add up, and you begin to see progress. Momentum is a powerful force that will carry you forward, but it's only built through consistent action. You have to keep going even when the initial excitement fades, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because once momentum kicks in, it's much easier to keep going. You start to build a rhythm, and that rhythm becomes the fuel that drives you toward your goals. Another important aspect of consistent effort is accountability. When you commit to showing up every day, it's helpful to have someone or something to hold you accountable. Accountability keeps you on track when your motivation wanes. It forces you to stay disciplined, to keep going, and to follow through on your commitments. Whether it's a mentor, friend, or a tracking system, accountability is a powerful tool that can help you stay consistent, especially on days when you feel like quitting. It reminds you that your goals are bigger than your temporary discomfort, that your vision is more important than your current struggles. And consistency isn't just about doing things every day, it's about doing them with purpose. It's about being intentional with how you spend your time and energy. Too often people confuse activity. Taking responsibility for your life is one of the most empowering decisions you can ever make. It's the moment you stop blaming others, stop making excuses, and stop waiting for circumstances to align in your favor. It's the moment you realize that you are the architect of your own future. And this realization is the key that unlocks everything you've ever wanted in life. Because when you take responsibility for your life, you take control. You stop being a passenger and start being the driver. Too many people spend their lives looking outward, blaming others for their struggles, waiting for the perfect opportunity, or hoping that someone else will make things better for them. And let me tell you something, waiting for someone or something to change your life is a recipe for disappointment. Life doesn't work that way. No one is going to hand you your dreams on a silver platter. No one is going to come to your rescue and fix things for you. And that's okay, because once you truly understand that you are the only one who can change your situation, you'll begin to realize that you hold all the power. Taking responsibility for your life means owning your choices. It means understanding that every decision you make, big or small, shapes your future. It means you no longer have the luxury of blaming your circumstances, your upbringing, or the people around you for where you are. You are where you are because of the choices you've made up to this point. And the beautiful thing about that is, if you don't like where you are, you have the power to change it. The moment you take full responsibility for your life, you stop being a victim of your circumstances. You stop saying, it's not my fault, and you start saying, what can I do about it? Now, let me be clear. Taking responsibility does not mean that you have to do everything alone. It doesn't mean you should shoulder the weight of the world or think that you have to figure everything out by yourself. Taking responsibility means acknowledging that you are the one in charge of your decisions, your actions, and your reactions. It means understanding that you have the power to choose your responses to life's challenges, regardless of the external factors. Life will always throw curveballs your way. You will face setbacks, failures, and obstacles that seem insurmountable. But it's not about what happens to you, it's about how you respond to it. You get to decide how you deal with those challenges, how you move through them, and how you learn from them. And that's where true power lies, in your response to life, not in what life hands you. Taking responsibility for your life also means letting go of the need for approval. How often do you find yourself making decisions based on what others think? How often do you hold back from going after your dreams because you're afraid of judgment or rejection? This is one of the biggest traps that people fall into. The need for external validation can hold you back for a lifetime. But when you take responsibility for your life, you stop looking for permission. You stop asking for approval. You stop seeking the approval of others, because you know that your worth and your success are not dependent on anyone else's opinion. You are the only one who gets to decide your path, and that is incredibly freeing. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop waiting for things to get easier. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop waiting for all the stars to align. The perfect time will never come. There will always be obstacles, setbacks, and challenges. Life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. But when you take responsibility, you stop making excuses and start taking action. You realize that waiting for the right time is a form of procrastination. It's just another way of avoiding the hard work that's required for growth. And when you take responsibility for your life, you stop doing that. You face the challenges head on. You take action even when you don't feel ready, because you know that progress comes from doing, not from waiting. One of the most powerful ways to take responsibility for your life is by setting clear, intentional goals. Too many people drift through life without a clear sense of direction. They go wherever life takes them and then wonder why they're not where they want to be. But when you take responsibility for your life, you understand that you have to be intentional about where you're going. You can't just hope for things to happen. You have to set specific, measurable, and realistic goals. You have to create a plan, break it down into manageable steps, and then take consistent action toward those goals. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop leaving your future to chance. You start creating it. And let me tell you something about goals: they will test you. They will push you beyond your comfort zone. There will be days when you want to quit. There will be times when you question your ability to succeed. But when you take responsibility for your life, you commit to your goals no matter what. You keep moving forward, even when things get tough. You learn to embrace the discomfort of growth, because you know that's where the magic happens. You know that on the other side of your struggle is the version of you that you've always dreamed of being. Taking responsibility for your life means taking ownership of your mistakes. This is a hard one for a lot of people. We all mess up. We all make bad decisions. And when we do, it's easy to blame others or make excuses. But when you take responsibility for your life, you own your mistakes. You don't make excuses. You don't point fingers. You take full accountability for what went wrong, and then you learn from it. You see every failure as an opportunity to grow, to become better, and to move forward stronger than before. You realize that failure is not the end, it's just a stepping stone on the way to success. And the more you take responsibility for your failures, the more you will learn to embrace them as part of the journey. Taking responsibility for your life also means letting go of the past. It means you stop using your past as an excuse for your present circumstances. We all have stories we tell ourselves about why we are where we are. I didn't have the right opportunities. I didn't have the support I needed. I didn't have the right upbringing. But here's the reality: your past does not define your future. Yes, your past may have shaped who you are today, but it does not have the power to dictate what you can achieve tomorrow. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop being a prisoner of your past. You stop letting it control your decisions and actions. You let go of the stories that hold you back, and you move forward with the knowledge that your future is yours to create. When you take responsibility for your life, you become the author of your own story. No one else is writing it for you. No one else is telling you who you should be or where you should go. You take full control over your decisions, your actions, and your future. And when you do that, you become unstoppable. You begin to live with purpose, with intention, and with a deep sense of empowerment. You realize that no matter what life throws at you, you have the ability to handle it. You have the ability to change your situation, to create the life you want, and to become the person you were always meant to be. Taking responsibility for your life is the foundation of true freedom. It's the realization that you have the power to shape your destiny. And when you take that responsibility, you free yourself from the limitations that others and even your own mind have placed on you. You stop making excuses. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop playing the victim. And you start living as the empowered, capable individual you were always meant to be.